Granblue Dreaming Season 2 Episode 11 just came out, but before that, I was rewatching Episode 10 and forgot to include this last week. This scene has a callback to Episode 2 of Season 1, which makes it the episode with the most callbacks in this season so far. Anyway, back to Episode 11. It adapts chapters 41 and 42, meaning the White Lab chapter, aka 40, has been skipped, much like Ask Prof Ushiro Nomiya's introduction in chapter 31. Meaning the first change comes in the opening scene as the White Lab panels are no longer referenced when Izusa and Iori yearn for a trip. This panel is sorta anime in the show now, which is a neat little change. Though a few things get cut here, including Izusa and Iori's visualized motivations, and the 2.5 pages detailing who and how the two of them would invite on said trip, which in turn changes this shot to now include Kohei, as these panels have been omitted as a result of the previous alteration, which is a shame since it means another gag was cut, but honestly this change doesn't affect the plot, so it's fine in my opinion. Kaya doesn't wear sunglasses in the anime anymore, and instead of hugging her, Kohei only kneels to Izusa now. Evidently, this shot has been changed quite a bit. The anime adds in a couple shots of the island, and I gotta admit, the new OST has really grown on me within the last 11 weeks. This shot adds Kaya closer to the middle, which helps fill it out a bit more. The anime skips the part where the worker shows how to set up tents and instead jumps to the boys already doing just that. The anime then changes the framing of this shot of Kohei threatening Iori to show that he intends to use a hammer on him. This panel is pretty different as Iori now physically drags Kohei and Kotobuki is out of frame due to the angle change. That and Tokita now points with his index finger rather than his thumb. The anime does another good change by adding a new perspective of what would have been outside of the tent for the girl's POV here, which is really elevated by the voice acting. The part where Azusa and Iori bond now excludes a few panels where Tokita and Kotobuki strip, and Kohei now no longer pops out from behind a tree. This line from Kudo has a manga-only reference to chapter 3, as it was cut dialogue from episode 2 of season 1. This shot, while funny as hell, no longer includes Azusa, along with some banter between Iori and Kohei. The anime omits all of the panels reminding readers who Kudo is, and Best Girl no longer has a drink in hand in the anime anymore, along with different framing. But the anime adds in Blob Iori afterwards. And the final panel of chapter 41 features Nanaka and Azusa. The second half of the episode adapts chapter 42, and this shot right here features two characters from Tinkerbell that you might remember from episode 4 and 7 of season 1. Though they don't have proper names, as Kudo's doubles partner is simply known as Glasses, and the other one as Long Hair. This shot of Otoya is changed and no longer has Chisa and Natsume in it, but instead has Iori pop into frame afterwards. More minor manga dialogue is omitted, specifically when it's revealed that Kudo is actually acquainted with Tokita and Kotobuki. After challenging them, this panel has been removed, along with the volleyball serving Iori from the montage, and instead includes a shot of him enjoying himself, morphing into a realization face, where Kohei is swapped out for Sakurako. This shot is changed heavily too. Some dialogue is cut from the scene where Kohei finally speaks with Kaya, where later there's a callback to the episode 5 mixer in season 1. There's no longer a visual of Tokita and Kotobuki here, and instead just shows a wide shot of the pavilion the gang's at. Later the anime adds in a classic peekaboo cheers shot. Kotobuki is swapped for Chisa here, and Nanaka is gone in this shot, but also adds Kaya to this one. The anime does omit this panel as a callback to chapter 28.5, since that chapter was only half adapted and used for episode 9 of season 1. This panel is nearly identical, but Kaya no longer holds makeup tools for some reason. And this one's a callback to episode 2 and 7 of this season, specifically regarding Iori's song. The anime adds a shot to show the aftermath of the game here, and Kaya is missing from this one due to the framing. There are now added shoe shots before Iori and Chisa's chase. During it, Iori's inner monologue on how to survive are no longer present anymore. And the final panel features a bummed out Nanaka. And that's about it. There were tons of changes this time around. However, all, if not most of them, were super minor, so I don't think that negatively affected this episode at all. But as for my thoughts, I loved this one. It was the most Granblue feeling episode of the season so far, at least in terms of that magical season 1 feeling that the Okinawa arc had. Since this season definitely focused more on the characters and their relationships, this episode felt like it finally got to cash in on a payoff to showcase the classic summertime fun that Granblue's so known for. Though I've always been a bit bummed out that Aina wasn't a part of this plotline. But I do have to say this, I'm really glad to see Kudo again. While he doesn't get a ton more screen time in the manga later on, Inoue Kenji has this magical ability to make literally every character, no matter how minor or scummy, endearing in some way or another. And anime onlys might find out next week what I'm saying here. That aside, best girl like always, and I'll see you next week for our final manga changes video on Grand Blue Season 2.